Hello. In this video, I'll be discussing the Mr. Bungle Iceberg. If you haven't listened to Mr. Bungle, you should, but if you refuse to anyways, they're a very fun experimental rock band that are known for their eclectic mixes of style, and also for being a really good band. For this video, I combined two different icebergs made by the Reddit user u/mergyss, as well as a different deleted Reddit user, both of which I will link in the description. You definitely already know how icebergs work, so I'm just gonna jump into this. Tier 1. Self-titled. The band's self-titled album Mr. Bungle was their first studio release, coming out in 1991. It's probably the band's most stylistically coherent album, mainly being experimental funk metal music, though it is by no means a normal album. One of its most prominent features is its constant use of samples and skits within the songs, which a lot of people find stupid and distracting, which they are all wrong about. It also has quite vulgar and funny lyrics that are often filled with interesting commentary. Overall, a really great album. Personally, my least favorite of their 90s studio work, but it's still very fun stuff. Disco Volante. Disco Volante was the band's second studio album, released in 1995. It is by a significant margin the band's most experimental and inaccessible release, with a truly absurd amount of genres covered within, from Arabic-influenced synth metal and desert search for techno-ala, to dark ambient sound collage and the bins. It all works surprisingly well. Vocals are much less prominent in this one, with a lot more space being given to the often disturbing instrumentals. Personally, this is my favorite album of theirs. It grows on you a lot the more you listen to it. Just don't play it in front of anyone else. California. California is the band's third studio album, released in 1999, and was their final release before their breakup, which lasted for about 20 years. This is probably their most accessible album and is much less harsh lyrically and sonically than their previous two. It also has quite varied genres represented on it, but a lot of it is a sort of pastiche of psychedelic pop music, especially older music from that genre. Amazing album, definitely my second favorite of theirs. It's also a great way to introduce other people to the band thanks to being relatively more accessible. Travolta music video. The song Travolta off their self-titled album, renamed to quote-unquote in later releases, is the only song of theirs to receive a music video, and it's definitely an interesting one that I'd highly recommend giving a watch. The video was quite disturbing, which should probably be expected from the band, and that apparently didn't go over well, as it was banned from re-airing on MTV quickly due to its very off-putting content. Retro Vertigo and Pink Cigarette fan-made music videos. Although Travolta is their only song to receive an official music video, their songs Retro Vertigo and Pink Cigarette both got quite good fan-made music videos by the YouTube user TCAN, which I'd definitely recommend giving a watch if you like those songs. They're very creative videos. The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, 2020. 20 years after the band broke up, they reunited in 2020 for a re-recording of their first demo album, The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. Unlike their later material, this record, both the original and the re-recording, are fairly conventional thrash metal albums, albeit pretty good ones. Alongside the main Bungle members, the band for this album also includes the guitarist from the band Anthrax and the drummer from the band Slayer, both of whom play quite well in the album expectedly. This is easily my least favorite album of theirs, mainly due to its more straightforward nature, but it's still decent and worth a listen if you're a metal fan. The Night They Came Home. The Night They Came Home is a 2021 live album by the band containing live renditions of their material from the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo. It's pretty good. RHCP feud. I won't get super into detail with this situation since it was quite complicated, but basically, Anthony Kiedis, the frontman of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Mike Patton, the frontman of Mr. Bungle, had a lengthy public feud during the 90s and 2000s. This was initially spurred by Kiedis thinking Patton had copied his style of performance, and continued throughout the 90s until in 1999 Bungle released their album California, and the Peppers released the similarly titled album Californication. Kiedis threatened to quit several festivals both bands were set to perform at unless Mr. Bungle did not perform at them as well, likely due to the feud. Mr. Bungle fired back at this with an extremely inflammatory performance in Pontiac, Michigan, where the band dressed up as the Peppers and made a number of jokes that were debatably in bad taste, such as pretending to shoot up heroin, referencing Kiedis' addiction to the substance. Unsurprisingly, Kiedis was not terribly happy about this, and according to Trevor Dunn, the bassist of Mr. Bungle, all of these things contributed quite heavily to Bungle breaking up in 1999. It appears that Patton and Kiedis are now in good terms, though, interestingly. Pee Wee Herman HBO special. Mr. Bungle is named after an educational film entitled Beginning Responsibility, Lunchroom Manners that they had seen as a segment of the Pee Wee Herman show. In the film, a puppet named Mr. Bungle is used as an example of what not to do in the cafeteria, which makes sense as the name for such an out-of-the-box band. Tier 2. OU818 Demo. OU818 is the fourth demo album by the band, released in 1989. It contains several songs that will later be featured in updated forms in their self-titled album. It's a pretty good album, very similar to their first album in style, just noticeably lower sound quality since it's a demo. Bowl of Chili Demo. Bowl of Chili is their second demo album, released in 1987. After their first straightforward thrash metal demo I mentioned earlier, this album is significantly closer to their later funk metal sound, with a lot more experimental touches. Unfortunately, though, it is not very good. You can definitely tell it's one of their first releases. Still probably worth a listen to learn some of the band's early history, though. Travolta was the original name for quote-unquote. As I mentioned previously, their song Travolta off their self-titled album was renamed in later versions to quote-unquote, the title of a biography of John Travolta. This change was spurred by fears of legal action from Travolta, due to the fact that the song is about a deaf, blind, mute, limbless man who is a circus attraction, which may not be the most flattering thing to attach to your name. Stub-a-Dub was based on the guitarist's dog named Stub. The song Stub-a-Dub off their self-titled album is about a dying dog named Stub. The song was named after the guitarist of Mr. Bungle, Trey Spearwance's dog, also named Stub. God Damn It I Love America demo. God Damn It I Love America is the third demo album by the band, released in 1988. Much like OU818, it is close in sound to their self-titled album, with several songs in it later being redone for that release. It's pretty good, but like most of their other demos, the awful sound quality does make it a lot harder to recommend. Mr. Bungle's influence on nu metal. Despite not making music that sounds a whole lot like it, Mr. Bungle, as well as Mike Patton's other famous band Faith No More, were large influences on the genre nu metal, including prominent nu metal bands like Korn and Slipknot. Apparently, despite this, Patton is well known as a hater of nu metal. The Secret Song. On their album Disco Volante, there is a secret song, often dubbed simply The Secret Song, though its official name appears to be Spy, that is hidden after the song Carries Stress in the Jaw. On the CD release and later vinyl pressings, it simply plays directly after that song, but in older vinyl versions, the song is located in a hidden double groove, which is quite difficult to find. The song is skipped over on those versions unless the needle is specifically placed on it. The song was recorded without the knowledge or performance of bassist Trevor Dunn, who later located it and recorded an audio track over it of him complaining about his absence from it in a goofy old man voice, which definitely adds to the song. Self-titled album samples. Their self-titled album contains a large amount of samples from different sources, as I've mentioned previously. The most prominent source of samples is the excellent 1986 film Blue Velvet, directed by David Lynch, which has dialogue frequently put into songs in the album. It fits surprisingly well. Tier 3. Sleep Trilogy. The songs Slowly Growing Deaf off their self-titled and Carry Stress in the Jaw and Phlegmatics of Disco Volante form a trilogy entitled Sleep. All three songs are written by Trevor Dunn and have lyrics about body parts. Dunn apparently didn't decide to make Slowly Growing Deaf Part 1 until he'd written the second two parts. Umlaut. Umlaut is an experimental rock band headed by Bear McKinnon, the saxophonist for Mr. Bungle. It's pretty similar to that band genre-wise, and several Umlaut songs were originally written by McKinnon for Bungle. Secret Chiefs 3. Secret Chiefs 3, similarly to the last entry, are an experimental rock band headed by Trey Spearwance. They perform music similar to Bungle's in terms of oddity, with more pronounced Middle Eastern as well as occult influence. Pretty sick band. My Ass is on Fire music video. A semi-unofficial music video for their song My Ass is on Fire off their self-titled album exists, comprised of clips from various live shows of theirs. According to Reddit user u/WernL, Steve Lederman, roadie on the 92 tour, made that video as a gift for the band. Somebody made a copy and somehow it made its way into the tape trading community, which is why we get to view it on YouTube in all its 10th generation glory. End quote. USA single. USA is a song by the band released as a single in 2020. The song is a cover of the song Fuck the USA by The Exploited. It is a heavy metal song in the style of the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. It's okay. Disco Volante demos/rough mixes. A number of demos and rough mixes of songs for Disco Volante exist online in various forms. I'm pretty sure that's all this entry refers to. Slipknot's demo Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat is heavily influenced by Mr. Bungle. The demo Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat by the band Slipknot is indeed heavily influenced by Mr. Bungle in sound, as I mentioned earlier in the entry about their influence on nu metal. My Ass is on Fire riff played at the Grammys 2022. During the 2022 Music Awards show The Grammys, when the band St. Vincent picked up their award for Best Alternative Music Album, the house band played the riff from their song My Ass is on Fire, which is pretty awesome. Viperfish. The cover of Disco Volante depicts a close-up of a dried viperfish being held up around an eye. If you don't know what a viperfish is, they're quite disturbing-looking deep-sea fish. Tier 4. Self-titled rough mixes. As with the one about Disco Volante, this entry refers to rough mixes of several self-titled songs floating around on the internet that you can listen to if you'd like. Uremia Italian Bootleg. Uremia is a 1992 bootleg of a live show by the band, containing 2 songs they performed during it. It's known for being incredibly hard to find physically, as well as being very obscure. Pretty interesting release. Rancid Decay/Mr. Bungle split demo. Rancid Decay/Mr. Bungle is a 1987 split demo created by the 2 titular bands, with the first half being music by the obscure metal band Rancid Decay, and the second half being songs from Bungle's demo Battle of Chile. The demo is definitely debatable in quality. Planned Noise Album. I cannot find a whole lot about this entry, but according to Reddit user u/randomdudefromabyss, quote, I think they threatened to make the next album after California a noise fest, totally unlistenable, as a reaction to the pop of California, end quote. Which definitely seems like something they'd do. Melt Banana's song Area 877 Phoenix Mix features Mr. Bungle. Noise rock band Melt Banana's song Area 877 Phoenix Mix features Mr. Bungle, specifically Mike Patton, who says the band's name at the start of the song. If you've heard of Melt Banana, it is not surprising they'd collaborate with Mr. Bungle. Dead Goon Extended 20 Minutes version. Dead Goon is a song off their self-titled album, and is already a fairly lengthy song in about 10 minutes. I can't find anything specific about this entry, but if I had to guess, I'd assume this is a live version of the song that extends it, though I can't find any live versions that are this long. If you know what this is, please let me know in the comments. Tier 5. Bister Mungle. Bister Mungle is the title of the live show the band did in 1985 while they were in high school and still in their metal period. The show was recorded and available to watch online if you're curious. Korn's Bungle Chord. The band Korn, which as I previously mentioned is heavily influenced by Mr. Bungle, have used a chord they've dubbed the Mr. Bungle chord, which is a flat 5th chord that the band has used in several songs. Played the Super Mario Bros. Melody live in 1989. As the title suggests, the band has performed the main theme of the video game Super Mario Bros. Several times live, among other odd covers they've done live. It's definitely an interesting listen hearing that song come from them. Soil X Sample 6. Soil X Sample 6 is the title of a split single by Mr. Bungle and the much more popular band The Flaming Lips, released in 1992. It contains the Bungle song Sudden Death and the Lips song Ballrooms of Mars. Very odd choice of bands to pair up considering how different they are in accessibility. Also, this single is not very good. Mr. Bungle Diamond Eyes Official Clown Mask. In 2017, Mike Patton announced that a limited edition handmade mask designed to look like the cover of their self-titled album was available to purchase. It doesn't look like you can still buy the official ones, unfortunately. It is very cool though, definitely wish I owned one of these. Avenged Sevenfold's cover of Retro Vertigo. Heavy metal band Avenged Sevenfold has made a cover of the Mr. Bungle song Retro Vertigo, included as a bonus track in their album The Stage. Pretty neat. Bungle Fever website. Bungle Fever is an unofficial fan website for the band, hosting news, tour dates, and a fair amount of other material about the band, including a very useful FAQ. They also used to host a forum, but it appears to be no longer active. Slipknot played parts of the Bins in their live shows in 1996. During a live show in 1997, not 96 as the entry says, Slipknot, notably influenced by Bungle as I mentioned, briefly sampled their song The Bins. Pretty cool. Raw footage. At the end of their song The Girls of Porn, yeah, it's definitely a Mr. Bungle song, off their self-titled album, a sample of a man and a woman having a conversation with fairly creepy undertones is heard. This sample comes from a 1977 adult film entitled Raw Footage. Definitely fits with the song. Upcoming poppy and experimental albums. I can't find anything online about this entry, but I would kill for this to be a real thing they're planning. We'll see, I guess. If I'm missing anything with this one, please alert me. 1999 Pontiac, Michigan show. As I mentioned in the entry about their feud with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, this was the show where Mr. Bungle dressed up like that band and did a vast amount of very morally questionable mocking of them. Mr. Bungle Bubble Bath. This was, according to Mike Patton fan website Patton Mad, quote, a promotional bubble bath given away at record stores in the USA to promote the self-titled album, end quote, which definitely seems like something they'd do. Appears to be quite rare to find now. Tier 6. Carousel riff is played at the Grammys, 2018. Much like the My Ass is on Fire riff I mentioned earlier, during the 2019 Grammys, as the musician Beck collected his award for Best Alternative Music Album, the house band played the riff for the Mr. Bungle song Carousel. The people in that band evidently have good taste. Official Disco Volante underwear merch. In 1995 to 96, official Disco Volante undershirts and panties are available for purchase. Somewhere. The only place I could find any info about these was on Bungle Fever, and it did not have much. Would definitely wear these, though. FNM/Mr. Bungle comic book, 2015. The second issue of the comic book series Rock and Roll Biographies, created by Mike Wellman and Matt Jacobs, contained comic versions of the histories of the two most popular Mike Patton-fronted bands, Faith No More and Mr. Bungle. I can't find any way to read this online, but you can apparently still order copies if you're interested. It definitely looks quite intriguing. Eric Andre's intro to Mr. Bungle Live, 2020. During a 2020 live show by the band, comedian Eric Andre gave a quite humorous brief intro to the band's performance, referencing his history with the band as well as some other quite funny material. Pretty entertaining stuff. Video Macumba. Video Macumba is a 1991 shock compilation film created by Mike Patton that includes a large amount of extreme and shocking content that I probably can't list on YouTube, as well as some other tamer content like clips of old cartoons, skits by Patton, and the music video for Travolta. Cannot say it looks like something I'd want to watch. Mike Patton on-stage enema. During a 1991 Mr. Bungle live show, Mike Patton did about what the entry title says, and then according to Wikipedia, quote, expelled it over the ground, end quote. Christ, I'm glad I didn't go to this show. Tier 7. Played an Emperor song live, 1996. During a 1996 live show, Mr. Bungle covered the song Cosmic Keys to My Creation and Times by the black metal band Emperor. It's not the best music I've heard in my life. Disco Volante vinyl pressing secrets. As I mentioned already, the original vinyl records of Disco Volante had a secret song and a hidden groove that you couldn't listen to normally. There was also a hidden track present after the final song Merry Go Bye Bye that consists of the band making a bunch of random noises for 6 minutes. Jordan Peele's movie Nope 2022 has a character wearing a Bungle shirt. This is indeed true. A character in the 2020 film Nope is shown wearing a Mr. Bungle shirt. Neat. Tier 8. Mr. Bungle used real alien recordings and sounds for the song The Bins. This is a joke entry with no actual basis in reality. I will say, though, the song does sound how I'd imagine real alien recordings would. Disco Volante era improv NFT 10-minute excerpt. In 2021, Mr. Bungle announced that they were releasing a 10-minute-long improvised recording from the Disco Volante era as 4 NFTs, each being 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the song. NFTs are stupid, I don't know why they did this. Also, the improv sucks. Not sure this was the best move by the band. Mr. Bungle Real 4th Album. I think this is another joke entry. The real 4th album is obviously the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, since it is, the 4th album of theirs, and I don't know what else this could be referring to. California Demos. Unlike the other albums, there don't appear to be pretty much any demos from California floating around online. Hopefully some get released at some point. And that was the Mr. Bungle Iceberg. Hope you enjoyed and learned a few things. As mentioned previously, definitely listen to this band if you haven't already. That is it. Thanks for watching.